What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TOJ Talks. I'm your host, Will Parkinson, at Will Pod, living on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. TOJ Pod, all 32. The resume, got to always list the resume here. Just going to do a quick 5 or 6 minutes here on a Saturday morning. Me and Dan did a much longer format episode on Buck the Trend yesterday. And then obviously had the preview pod back on Wednesday. So don't want to fill up you guys' feed too much, but want to just talk a little bit more about this Jets-Texans game and, kind of digesting it. We're about now 48 hours removed from the Jets obviously getting a big time victory over the Texans, in MetLife, and a couple things just stand out to me, kind of forward thinking. There's a lot of issues with the Jets still, right? From the future perspective, what is this team going to look like? I don't think any of us really have any idea at this moment, just because the season's not dead yet, obviously, and in terms of the quarterback, in terms of guys like Devontae Adams, a Morgan Moses, a Tyler Conklin, a DJ Reed, guys that are free agents at the end of the year, and or Rodgers and obviously Devontae are in a little bit of a different boat. A Quincy Williams who's due a new contract. Like, there's a lot of different things there. Hassan Reddick, all these different pieces. But with the season being very much still alive, again, the Jets have quite a bit of work to do, right? Like, as much as we're positive right now, they could go out and lay an egg against Arizona on Sunday afternoon and basically leave it up to, we have to go 7 or 6-1 or 7-1 the rest of the way. The Jets are in a spot now where, you can't really lose any more AFC games outside of maybe the Buffalo game. You want to take care of business there, obviously, and you'd like to win as many as you can. You'd like to stack two before the bye here, get yourself to 5-6, 2 games in 30 days. The Jets just came off 9 games in 53 days. So, a team that needs to get healthy at quarterback needs to get healthy. Anytime your running back can go from 9 games in 53 days to 2 games in 30 days, you'll take it. Devontae's been a little bit banged up, obviously. The offensive line, the interior of the offensive line, something that's going to need to obviously stay healthy because I think the offensive line generally has been pretty decent this year, and I think they're starting to really hit their stride. They had a really nice afternoon or nice night on Thursday night, especially in the second half. Defensively, Michael Carter, Sauce, Reed, Adams, and Clark, all 5 starters, have dealt with injuries over the past month or are currently dealing with them. Linebackers, you'd like to get CJ Mosley back, and healthy. He's a guy that, again, I know Sherwood's playing some good football right now in Quincy, but you'd like to be able to have the flexibility to have CJ Mosley. And, it gives Reddick, a chance to have 4 games under his belt and then get rolling. Will McDonald looked a little banged up on Thursday, even though he was an absolute maniac on the field, getting held every goddamn fucking play and no calls being made. But, the last couple of things I just want to hit on here are some positives, I guess, or some things to watch going forward, for this Jets team based on the way they played on Thursday night. They went tempo on offense at times. There was no play clock issues. Not a little bit less audibling at the line, getting into your right assignments, checking, but there was not so much of running it down all the way to getting the perfect play. They kind of just rolled with it. I don't know if that's on Rodgers, if that's on Downing. It's a mixture of the two. There was no miscommunications. It didn't feel like from the offense, from the receivers. I know Mike Williams had a couple of plays in New England where he kind of looked like he wasn't really sure where to line up. I felt like Rodgers moved the best in the second half he's moved in some time. And, they're going to need that going forward. He talked about how he's getting much closer to 100%. I think the hamstring is the one thing that's been really, like, he's had the ankle and he's had the knee stuff, but I think the hamstring isn't like limited his ability to run, so teams just don't respect it. Whereas after the New England game, like in the Denver game, he was running a lot. I think he had like 36 or 40 yards rushing over 2 games. Like that's huge. He picked up 3-4 first downs, got out of trouble, then made plays with his legs to make plays with his arms, with his arm. I think the developing chemistry, obviously, with Devontae and Garrett and Rodgers is something to watch. I think we all know that. Me and Dan talked a lot about that on Thursday or Friday's episode. And Connor was tweeting about it a little bit before, and we've all we were tweeting about it yesterday and talking about it. But Olu Fashanu coming in and never having played right guard his whole life, or guard in general, and coming in and being really good. And it'd be interesting to see if the Jets feel like AVT is still a week away, or John Simpson's still a week away. If the Jets just roll and go Olu at guard to get one of your best 5 on the field, because he is certainly one of their best 5. Or certainly one of their best 6 offensive linemen, and obviously would be one of their best 5 without that. So, Max Mitchell did a nice job, but I obviously, if you're missing one of the interior guys, you like to see Olu out there. Defensively, I think the promising nature of Quinnen starting to hit his stride here, Reddick starting to look much more dangerous, and Will McDonald, brewing with confidence, is obviously a great thing. I think it comes down to the next, again, this is a very short episode here. Just kind of want to talk on a few talking points a little bit, and get you into your weekend. But man, listen, the Jets, again, it's not being overly positive. They're 3-6, right? And the coaching is still probably an issue, and the dumb penalties and some of the mistakes and the Corley play and all that stuff, right? Like, those are all real things. But there is some reason for optimism leaving that second half. Kind of the pressure feels off a little bit now. It feels like they can just go out there and play football. The Aaron and Devontae connection, we've seen it happen now. So they don't need to press to try to make it happen. Garrett's kind of had his breakout game. He's had some bigger games statistically, but his breakout national TV game in a W. Brees looks much more like Brees. Tyron Smith played his best game of the season. Those are things to build on. Reddick, Q, and McDonald combining for 25 plus pressures. Like, that's a good thing. So it comes down to this. You got Arizona in 10 days or 9 days time, 8 days, whatever it is now. I don't even know. But go take care of business in Arizona and come back and have your chance set up for a relevant home game against a team you're competing against a wild card spot for on Sunday Night Football. That'd be pretty awesome. That'd be really awesome to experience. It'd be really awesome to see, and be a really good sign and talking point of, you really do get to 5 and 6 of the bye. People are going to start believing, and you have another 2 weeks off, and you get a Seattle team coming in here, at a 1:00 kickoff on the East Coast, after coming off and them playing the week before. So a lot going on there, but obviously a short episode. I'll be back with a much longer episode. If you want a much more in-depth episode, for me and Dan, Buck the Trend yesterday, make sure you check that out. Joe will be on the Feed 12 pack tomorrow, I believe, or some form of content tomorrow. And then other guys, Joe and Connor, on the regular pod, and so on and so forth. But appreciate it for listening, and we'll talk to you guys soon.